Good morning, good life. You're listening to Detail Therapy, episode 77, 7 Healthy Habits to Increase Clarity and Mindset.
She's an award-winning YouTuber and best-selling author, obsessed with helping you go after the life you want.
I like it.
Join her as she seeks out the stories and strategies
Give me every little detail.
of extraordinary people who found success.
I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God.
Welcome to Detail Therapy with Amy Landino.
Today we're focused on increasing focus. How meta. We're going to discuss how to increase clarity and mindset with healthy habits, including what I never do first thing in the morning, the calendar blocking tactic that keeps me feeling good, and how much Prosecco is too much Prosecco. All that and more on this episode of Detail Therapy. For those of you who are new to the show, my name is Amy Landino and I will be your host. You can think of me as your number one productive lifestyle coach. I'm the founder of Gatlu House, a resource dedicated to helping you go after the life you want. In addition to this podcast, we produce the award-winning YouTube series Amy TV, of which I am also the host. I've authored 2 best-selling books, including Good Morning, Good Life, which is now available on Amazon. Links to everything I shouted out will be in the show notes at our new home base on the internet, gatlu.com. Well, when I look in my DMs and in my emails and a lot of the comments that I get on YouTube videos or any blog posts at Gatlu, there's so much inquiry about getting motivated and getting focused and getting remotivated and getting refocused that I thought that this episode was really needed because of how much our health has to do with aligning all of those things and making sure that they are working at optimum levels. And so that's why I'm very excited about this episode, because there's so many things that I try to do on a regular basis every day, so that I can keep my body pretty even keel and make sure that my mindset is where it needs to be in order to have some level of productivity in your life. It's about focusing on what's important and not the things that aren't, and also not letting the kind of less than amazing things get to you too much. And so having that clear mindset really means taking care of your body so that your body can survive what isn't the most of ideal circumstances that are going to happen on a regular basis, whether it's something really silly or something really major. Either way, we've got to push through. We have to live our best lives as humanly possible as we can. And much of that has to do with how we treat our bodies on the inside and out. So let's dive straight in. First and foremost, the number one healthy habit that I have in my life that increases clarity and mindset is that I do not eat first thing in the morning. Now, I think that this could be, how do we want to put this? You can apply this however it makes sense in your life. First thing in the morning literally means, and there's no other parameter around it, I do not wake up, get out of bed, brush my teeth, to then go eat a croissant, okay? Like, that's not what's happening. Now, you might decide, yes, that's totally acceptable. I agree, but I'm going to have to in the first half hour. You know what? You can decide what time to start eating makes sense for you. But the one thing I know for sure from my intermittent fasting days, which I kind of wish I was doing lately because I think it would be helping me in quarantine, but I totally have not been doing any intermittent fasting. What I remember from those days where I would go 16 hours without consuming anything that had calories was that I felt like I could really focus on what I was doing because there wasn't something that I ate that is changing my body chemistry and making me feel a certain kind of way. Now, that being said, coffee, ASAP. I have my lemon water. I have my coffee. I'm drinking coffee right now. It's 9:30 in the morning when I'm recording this. And I have not eaten and I do not feel hungry. And that's just how my body has become programmed over a period of time. My body does not expect to eat first thing in the morning because I never, ever do. And by never, I mean at a certain point in my life, I stopped doing it, I assume. I don't remember when that was, but probably about a decade ago. I would have to guess because I was so excited to jump up and work on my side hustle every day and my new business. So there's a lot of ways you can interpret this. I'm not advocating. I'm not a doctor. I don't care if you do fasting or not. I think that there's a lot of advantages to eating within a certain time frame in the morning. As a matter of fact, as much as I believe in intermittent fasting, I just finished rereading The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and he kind of throws something in there, which I think was kind of like a teaser for the healthy stuff he ended up doing after he wrote that book, like The 4-Hour Body. He said in this book, he said, hey, one really big thing I've learned throughout my life is eating within the first 30 minutes of waking up, so maybe 30 minutes after getting out of bed, having a high protein diet. That has worked very well for him. But what I know is if I'm not going to eat protein, I'm definitely not eating first thing in the morning, because whatever it is, if it's carbohydrate or if it's really anything else, if it's going to weigh me down, if it's going to put a pit in my stomach or make my body start doing things that's going to distract me from what is top of mind, I have noticed that makes me not my best self. So all I'm saying is this is potentially something to entertain. If you are in the habit of, you wake up and you eat, if that's just all you've ever known, giving something else a try, where you just say, hey, and by the way, this is going to be very hard right away. So if you're going to try it, I would do it longer than a day. I would see how it feels on like day 3 or day 5 of not eating within the first hour or within the first 2 hours, kind of decide based on what your own lifestyle is. But I do think it is worth testing, because if you notice that, oh, wow, it turns out I can get to 11 o'clock after a period of time of training my body, I can get to 11 o'clock without eating. First of all, from somebody who hates making additional decisions that I don't have to make, I never really have to decide to eat breakfast because ultimately it ends up just being lunch and dinner. So I personally enjoy that additional perk. But secondly, you really learn a lot about what your body is capable of. And when you start eating, I think that's where the biggest issue is for me, is when I start eating, I don't stop. So I'm like, okay, if I eat at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to eat at 8 and then at 9 and then at noon. And then I'm just going to be eating the rest of the day. So I feel like I'm postponing the inevitable, that once I eat lunch today, I'm going to be snacking on Cheez-Its, and then I'm going to have a little salad, and then I'm going to make those biscuits I've gotten really good at making in quarantine. I feel like it's the beginning of sort of like the domino effect. So from a mindset standpoint, when I wake up and I do my morning routine and I'm sipping on my lemon water and I already know that I'm doing all of this, I'm brain dumping the things on my mind so I can get them out of the way. I'm working on my big first project first. I'm not thinking about eating, and certainly we love to multitask while we eat. I'll get to that in a little bit. None of that is happening, and I can spend all of my morning focus on the important things to me. And then the first meal of the day just kind of comes in turn. So that's just something that has worked for me. That has hugely increased clarity and mindset. I would not be talking this fast and be this focused if my body was thinking about eating right now at this point in the morning, because it would be super distracting. Now, I cannot say that my tummy will not growl at some point, because it's just going to communicate with me at some point. But, we'll see how it goes. I'm sipping my coffee until then. So good. Oh my God. I've gotten so good at making coffee. I don't know why I had to give myself that little bit of credit there, but you're welcome. Okay. So number two, for healthy habits that I do that increase clarity and mindset that I recommend you try is scheduling your workouts. So it's no secret that moving your body is vitally important to your health. No matter how strenuous that it is, I'm not telling you to go join CrossFit if you don't want to join CrossFit, okay? It's you. It's do you, and stick with it. But I will tell you for sure that I am much more likely to show up for the body movement if I've scheduled it in. And this also comes in with a little bit of just having that policy in your life that you're scheduling more of the things that you do in your life. So it helps that I look at my calendar a lot because I have appointments and I have tasks that I've scheduled for myself. One of those tasks is workouts. all of April, I was committed to stepping up to my New Year's resolution of working out every day again, which of course, New Year's resolutions are meant to be a little bit lofty. And I fell off that wagon for a little while in February and March. And then I feel like quarantine was like, hey, maybe you should give this thing a try again. And I did. And one of the reasons that I did was because Peloton, which is one of the things that I've been doing for working out at home, had a challenge. And it was like, hey, you can get this cute little badge if you work out every day in April. And I was able to stick with that, but I wasn't able to stick with it without scheduling that time in. Because even with the plethora of time that I specifically have, and I'm sure many people can relate when you're stuck at home and you're meant to stay home right now because of the quarantine situation, then you feel like you could do it anytime you want. But then suddenly it's like 8 o'clock at night and you're not going to work out at 8 o'clock at night unless you love to work out at 8 o'clock at night, which I do not because it will keep me awake half the night. You're not going to do it. So scheduling in the time helps a lot. If you can't do any more than 3 days a week, that's okay. It doesn't mean it's less important to schedule. So I highly recommend you think about that. If you haven't been sticking with your workouts that much, maybe look at what does your calendar look like? Where have the hiccups come up? Why won't you work out? I'll tell you this right now. I will not get on the spin bike if my hair is clean. Like, if I just went to all the trouble to shampoo and blow out my hair yesterday, I'm not getting on the spin bike for a couple days. No, I am not wasting all that work that it takes to blow out my hair when I'm in dire need of a haircut. Okay, I know that this is getting really, I'm talking about quarantine a lot. I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to this. So if you're listening to this at a later time, I apologize. But I'm just not going to do it. It's so much effort. It's too much shampoo that's going to damage my hair. And I'm just not going to get on the spin bike. So I will schedule my spin workouts based on when I intend to wash my hair again because I need that to align. And so that's a really good example of a bougie excuse to use your calendars to schedule your workouts because maybe there really is a reason why you can't get that workout in. Maybe there's something happening at the park and you like to go to a group workout event, but you can't do it during certain times because you're watching your children or your kids are at home with you during certain times. You're going to schedule those workouts and you're going to schedule making sure the kids are taken care of. So the same should go for if you're holding yourself accountable for your own little workout class. So look at your calendar today. Look for at least one more workout opportunity that you could do this week than you did last week and schedule it in and start reminding yourself that that is the time you're going to stick with. You're going to show up just like you would for someone else who is asking you to go to coffee or asking you to attend a spin class. Maybe you would show up to a workout if it was scheduled and somebody was there waiting for you. So just think about all those things that it takes to get you to show up and figure out how you can schedule it in and get yourself to be there as well. My third healthy habit to increase clarity and mindset is to take 5 minutes to meditate or do a gratefulness practice. Meditation isn't my favorite thing to do, but I do find I need it every once in a while. But the one thing that I've actually been doing lately, and this started when I took a little vacation a week or so ago, and I took the time off, but it wasn't to stop working. It was just to stop doing normal work tasks and to do some things that were a bit more outside of myself. So I started watching every day, not watching, I had it on in my earbuds, but it was on YouTube. So essentially, yes, could I have been watching it? Yes, but that was not the point of the exercise. Tony Robbins has this thing called a priming practice. And that priming practice is really an opportunity to observe a great deal of gratefulness while also thinking about the things that you want to happen. So we're not talking about the secret here, but we are talking about, if I really would like to achieve something else, you have to appreciate what you have first. And I think that that's what's really amazing about this. He also works in an important breathing exercise to kick the whole thing off, which really brings your focus. So that breathing and gratefulness exercise, I will link to that in the show notes because it's actually amazing. He walks you through this in his event his event, that's his more entry-level event. That's an absolutely amazing experience. I think absolutely everyone should do at some point in their life. But if you can't, they just added it to Audible, which is amazing. So we'll link to that as well. I've said amazing a million times, but it's so good. The event is called Unleash the Power Within. You can find it on Audible. If you can't attend a full weekend event, they've given it to you now in like a 6-hour listening experience. But this video itself on YouTube is just the priming exercise that he walks you through. And it's breathing and it's gratefulness and it's thinking about what you want to happen and really visualizing it, which we know visualization is so powerful. Just the breathing exercise, just sitting there and being with yourself, just sitting there and being coached and being told that you can focus on something that you want and that is okay. I find that to be one of the healthiest things that I've done lately. And if you don't want all that hubbub and power and instruction in your mind, just meditation is so healthy because you're sitting with your thoughts. You're not scrolling your phone. You're not listening to somebody's complaints next to you. Your kids aren't screaming at you. The TV's not on. The whole point of this is just to be taken out of the normal element, to get off the hamster wheel, get off the treadmill, and do something that's going to make you think in a different way. That has so much power over clarity and mindset for you that I recommend it no matter what you feel called to do. Maybe you try a 5-minute, 10-minute meditation. Maybe you try this priming exercise and have Tony Robbins kind of pump you up. Either way, try something like this because you will find that it's different than trying to scroll the internet to figure out what you want for yourself. And it's different than comparing yourself to the world. And it's different than just coming up with a list of things that you wish would happen, but aren't actually figuring out what it would take to do that. Try something that gets you out of your normal headspace. And I think that this has been major for me. Meditation in a calming capacity, but the priming exercise as a firm reminder for why I'm doing what I'm doing every day. I think we all could use a little bit of help with that. My fourth healthy habit that increases clarity and mindset is not multitasking while eating. This is one that I picked up from a book called Intuitive Eating, another very interesting book that kind of squashes all of the diet mentality. If you're interested in something like that, it is a very, very good read. I would definitely listen to it on Audible because it's very long. But they talk about multitasking while eating, which is obviously not very intuitive because if you're watching television or if you're scrolling your phone or if you're doing anything really while you eat, you're not recognizing how food makes you feel. You're not recognizing how much you're eating or how little you're eating or how you're eating. And I find that this has been very, very helpful for me because overeating is a great way to totally squash my mindset. So if I'm like totally going to get a Chipotle bowl for lunch, yeah, delicious, amazing. I love me a Chipotle bowl. But at the same time, do I need the whole thing? No. And if I eat the whole thing, do I have a Chipotle baby? Yes. And you can't focus after that, man. You've got a whole lump in your belly. Like it's not clarity. It's not mindset. And it's already bad enough that I am not as clear in the afternoon. So doing something like that is going to make me really fuzzy. And I don't know if you feel that way, but certainly eating a burrito bowl while trying to also continue to work at my desk or scroll my phone or do something that is not helping me focus on the actual amount of food I'm intaking, that is something that has decreased mindset and clarity for me significantly. And I know it's happening every time. My clarity comes back right away as soon as I feel like I ate too much. Believe me, it's hard to focus on anything else. So another little foodie situation tip here, which is obviously going to be very consistent in healthy habits because what we eat is ultimately how we treat ourselves and our bodies. And so that's just another little mention there of something that could be tripping you up from a mindset standpoint. Okay, let's take just a second so I can tell you about the sponsor of this episode of Detail Therapy, another bonus for your healthy habits to increase clarity and mindset. And that's our friends at Athletic Greens, which is the all-in-one daily drink to support better health and peak performance. Athletic Greens was developed with the best in mind and has become part of the daily regimen of thousands of high performers and athletes worldwide, including myself. I may not be an athlete, but honey, I am a high performer. This drink, even with a balanced diet, helps you to cover your nutritional bases. It was developed from a complex blend of 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients. Athletic Greens is a greens powder engineered to help fill the nutritional gaps in your diet. Their daily drink improves your everyday performance by addressing the 4 pillars of health: energy, recovery, gut health, and immune support. So I love this. It's become a ritual for me to go to my refrigerator, open up my Athletic Greens pot, get the little scoop some of the greens into my Athletic Greens bottle and shake it up with some water and drink it. And I feel like I am actually getting so many good things for my body in one quick drink. This is a highly absorbable powder. It's diet friendly, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. And it's all a drink that is actually really good and has less than a gram of sugar, which is shocking. This has been so key for my clarity and mindset, and I just feel like an overachiever when I'm drinking it. So definitely something that I recommend for you, whether you're looking to boost your energy levels, support your immune system, or address gut health. Now is the perfect time for you to try Athletic Greens along with me. Pop over to athleticgreens.com/detail therapy to claim my special offer of 20 free daily travel packs with your first purchase, which is a $79 added value. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/detail therapy. Check it out. All right, on to number 5 on my healthy habits list for increasing clarity and mindset. 1 alcoholic drink maximum. Ugh, I know, it's hard. It's really hard to stop at 1. But let me tell you, if I am focused and not multitasking too much while I am having a lovely glass of Prosecco, I know that I feel different after 2 than after 1. You really only taste it for the first half of a glass anyway. Who are we kidding? Let's just be honest, right? Obviously, alcohol is not here to increase clarity and mindset, although you are quite myopic in your thinking when you drink. Totally different way of doing things. You're not going to feel better the next day after too much, and you're not really going to get much accomplished after too many. But let me tell you, 1 beautiful glass of red wine while I am sitting at my computer at 8 o'clock at night because I'm inspired and I want to write something that's either going to be a video or a podcast or a blog post, I actually feel really good. It makes me feel like I'm in the zone. But if I have another one, things just start to get crazy, right? So for the most part, most days of the week, not including Friday and Saturday, I allow myself to have 1 glass of something so that I will actually enjoy it and it will not take my eye off the ball. Nobody needs to stumble to bed on a Tuesday night, okay? Although I do think quarantine conditions have merited otherwise for many of us. It has happened. If I want to make sure that I'm top of my game the next day and I actually get reasonably good sleep, which we're going to talk about, believe it or not, very soon. It's a 1 drink max kind of situation over here. So that's a really, really, really important habit to incorporate because it's just amazing how much it can mess with your body if you get a little too thirsty, you know? Number 6 on my healthy habits list, eat your veggies. So I just find this so funny because my husband has a sweet tooth and he's always talking about how every time I make a meal, it's got carrots in it. And I'm like, yeah, eat your carrots, bro. And he's just not a carrot fan. But I keep telling him, I'm like, listen, we don't eat our veggies that as much as we should. We don't have them in our omelets in the morning when we totally could add them in our omelets in the morning. And we don't always have the most nutritious lunch. So if anything, we get those veggies in at dinner time, have a balanced meal. And I have been loving my Blue Apron subscription because it's keeping us very consistent on having a balanced meal instead of ordering out every night. That's just another bonus that keeps me actually having the habit of eating a balanced meal. But eat your veggies, man. I mean, it's so hard to focus when you eat nothing but bread and meat. You got to have your veggies. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to sit here and tell you all the health benefits of veggies, but you feel different if you have had a balanced meal in your life on a regular basis versus when you haven't. So this has been helpful for us, if for no other reason than we know we had a colorful meal and that we covered our bases. And Athletic Greens is a really big help to that as well. If we didn't get our greens in, we can at least have our greens in another way. Just eat your veggies. Find any way to make it happen. And if you can't handle carrots, then get your shaker, get some Athletic Greens, but make sure you have it in your life. Number 7, my final healthy habit for increasing clarity and mindset is to schedule your bedtime, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So I talked about scheduling earlier, not just scheduling your workout, but scheduling your bedtime. It's like scheduling a workout. You're scheduling that time for your body to recover, for your skin to recover, for your mind to recover. And so making sure that you get the amount of time that you need to sleep is so, so important. As much as I would love to say sleeping for 6 hours or 5 hours is okay, we know it's not. We know we don't feel our best. And those days are going to happen. There's nothing we can do about that. There are going to be days when your nights get disrupted, whether you have children that are disrupting it or something happened outside like a thunderstorm and it disrupts it. Like, it's just going to happen. But doing the best to your own ability to get that time, getting to bed at a certain time so that you can wake up at another certain time, and that's equating to 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You're going to be better off if you're like chalking it up to, I'm going to wake up anyway, so I'll just not go to bed till 2 a.m. Well, no, life doesn't work that way. You've got to make it happen for you. So if you want to make it happen, schedule your bedtime. If you are an iPhone user, I have this really lovely feature on my phone, as everyone does. They have an alarm, but they also have an alarm that's specifically for designing bedtime. So ultimately, when you go to your alarm, you click on the bedtime button and you schedule the time to go to bed, and it gives you this dial so that you can see how much sleep you're going to get based on when you decide to wake up. And I think this is great because instead of me saying at 11 o'clock and I should have gone to bed an hour and a half ago, like, okay, well, I'm just going to wake up at 5 o'clock. Well, that's not a good amount of sleep. And the reality is, instead of waking up super duper early and not getting enough sleep, I would be better off waking up after 7 hours. So I can look to see with this dial what time that is. The other nice thing is that if you keep the option on all the time, it'll tell you the next day, okay, hey, you should be getting ready for bed right now because you should be in bed in a half hour. And some of us need that reminder, and that's a great way to schedule it. You can also just go to your calendar and schedule it and set a timer to go off for when it's time for bed. So my recommendation is that you take your sleep so much more seriously, just as seriously as you want to take your workouts and all your other appointments. Schedule the time to sleep and sleep. Put an eye mask on, put your earplugs in. I've been sleeping with an eye mask and earplugs every single night because our new house is not exactly helping me fall asleep as easily lately. So I make sure it happens. I make sure it happens. And even if I'm not sleeping as well as I could be, I did everything that was in my power to make that happen. All right, those are my 7 healthy habits for increasing clarity and mindset. To recap: 1, don't eat first thing in the morning. 2, schedule your workouts. 3, take a few minutes to meditate or do a gratefulness practice. Number 4, stop multitasking while you eat. Recognize what you're eating. Number 5, maximum of 1. It's hard to say because it's hard to stick with, but 1 alcoholic beverage maximum. Okay, just 1. Number 6, eat your veggies. Number 7, schedule your bedtime for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I would love to hear another healthy habit that you think we should all incorporate for better clarity and mindset, something that has worked for you. Come on over to Detail Therapy on Instagram at Details Podcast and leave a comment on our latest post with the tip that you would like to share. I also want to remind you, as I told you last week, the doors have opened for my Freedom Finder business program, the Gatlu Society, to be a part of this community where we are helping you follow your passion and create love for the work that fits your life. Head over to gatlu.com/membership. That's GATLUW.com/membership. We're kicking off next week, May 18th, and the doors will close when we do. So get grandfathered in with pricing and don't miss your chance to join so that you can get real actionable advice to go after the life you want. Another shout out to the sponsor of this episode of Detail Therapy, and that's our friends at Athletic Greens. For more details about how you can save on your next purchase of these fabulous greens, check out athleticgreens.com/detail therapy. I'll leave all the links to everything I mentioned in the show notes. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. I'll see you here next Tuesday. Cheers.